Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this plenary meeting at Shirehall today, the South Planning Committee. You are not expecting the fire drill today. In the event of the alarm, leave the building and gather to the front of the building. I'm obliged to inform you that this meeting is being live streamed and recorded. But I also ask you please ensure your mobile phones are switched off. In order that those watching the live stream know who is speaking, members and officers introduce themselves prior to speaking. To ensure the members of the committee and all points raised by the public speakers are properly heard, I must advise you I will not tolerate any disruptive behaviour. This is a meeting held in public and not a public meeting, and if such behaviour takes place and persists, I will adjourn the meeting. I will now ask members to introduce yourselves. Ed, please.
Councillor Ed Potter, Shropshire Councillor for the Lowton Division.
Councillor Caroline Bagnall, representing Broseley.
Councillor Tony Parsons, representing Basin Hill, Colham and Sutton.
Nigel Lumley, Councillor for Albrighton.
Councillor Hilary Luff for Church Stretton and Craven Arms.
Robert Tyndall, I represent Brown Tea. Christian Lee, representing Bridge North East and Astley Abbots. Nick Hignett, Councillor for Vey Valley Ward.
Jacob.
Jacob Collett, Planning Officer for the South.
Charles Morrison, Development Manager for the South.
David Evans, Councillor for Church Stretton and Craven Arms, and also chair of this committee.
James Helton, Locum Solicitor, Legal Services.
Tim Ward, Committee Officer.
Thank you. Have apologies for absence, please.
We've had apologies from Councillors Andy Boddington and Richard Halford.
Okay, no substitute?
No substitutes, Chair.
Okay. We've got minutes of the meetings held on May the 9th. That was a planning committee meeting. And we've also got a meeting held on May the 11th, where I was re-elected as chairman and Nick Hickson as vice chairman. Do I have a proposal for the minutes, please?
I'll propose a true record.
Thank you. Thank you. All in favour, please? Thank you. Public questions?
No public questions, Chair.
Thank you. Disclosure for community interest, please. Councillor Ignat.
Thank you, Chair. Item 6 on the agenda, Quercus Domus. It's in Ponsonby Parish. I sit on Ponsonby Parish Planning Subcommittee and I've already debated and voted on this matter for them, so I will take no part due to predetermination.
Thank you. Any others? No? Right, thank you very much. Item number 5, proposed residential development at land east of the Bullring Cavalry. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. So this is a local affordable housing needs scheme for 4 2-bedroom affordable dwellings to meet local needs, 3 bin storage areas, car parking and associated infrastructure on land east of the Bullring Cavalry. 2 of the dwellings will be for sale at a discounted price and 2 would be for rent with a capped rent. I think we are broadly content with this as a development that meets a local need and is acceptable in principle. As I hope the report demonstrates, the main issue that we've been unable to reconcile is how to deal with waste. The applicant, who's speaking in a second, can outline his view on it. Our view is broadly that we won't get a council vehicle into there. There are private arrangements, as detailed in the report, that the applicant is suggesting. However, we feel like there are some concerns around that long term, and ultimately in law, the council will become responsible if the Section 106 assessment entitled, or there's a change to the affordable housing status. So in the end, we might become responsible for that. Also, on this morning's site visit, we had some residents and members were concerned about the 2 pavement extensions out to the front. I've had the time to clarify that with the highways engineer, and she's not concerned whether they are on that plan or not. So if members are minded to approve, you might want to consider that following on from the site visit this morning.
Okay, thank you very much. We have some speakers on this. I got Councillor Richard Cotton, please. Right hand side. So speaking on behalf of Family Parish Council, and you've got 3 minutes to address the committee, please, sir.
Thank you, Chairman. Good afternoon, committee.
If you can turn on the right hand side, right hand.
That's it. Good afternoon, committee. I'm Richard Cotton, Chairman of the Cladley Parish Council. The Cladley Parish Council supports this application for approval. It fulfils the latest housing needs survey, and along with quite a long list of everybody else who seems to support this, we have, of course, raised the issue of bins ourselves in the past, and the applicant has addressed these to our satisfaction with the use of a private contractor using a smaller waste lorry, and of course then there's the composting on site of green material. You may be interested to know that the area council collector uses the same size lorry as this lorry to collect the household waste from Damson Hollow, only 3/4 of a mile away. Through an entrance, it is only 2.8 metres wide and is an unadopted bridleway. The question of continued private contractors, well, I'm sure there's more than one, Veolia being one of them. And then again, you almost ask how financially secure are the council's bin collections in the future. Many houses in the parish have more than 30-metre distance, Orchard Close just being one, which was opposite where you parked this morning. Many council collections are on unadopted roads in the parish: Murderford Cottages, Gattical Park Farm, Gattical Hall. The officer's visit observed no roadside bins, yet Church Street would have been full of bins and High Street in front of all the two grade 2 listed properties. You might notice in a late letter in there of support from one entrance neighbour, and the general feeling of the neighbours, it's just they would like to see an overgrown eyesore tidied up. There are 4 supporting, 1 objecting, 1 would supports it but disagreed with the build outs, and really I can't really see the necessity of those build outs if you're so minded to remove them. And to finish, given the choice of a house to bring up a family in our village or wheel a bin a few extra yards, I think I know the answer. Thank you, Chairman. Thank
you, Councillor. Any questions, please? Yep, thank you very much. On Will Butler, please. You're the acting member for Council Ellis. And you have 5 minutes to address the committee, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm standing in for Councillor Lynch, the ward councillor, while he is unwell, and I've been involved with this application since the spring and talking to the relevant planning officers. Mr. Chairman, first I'd like to thank you for allowing this to be debated at committee. I have visited the site and am impressed by the style and design and quality of what has been built to date. The properties are built by local tradesmen who will soon be ready to start this project if approved, or will move off site to other projects and delay further the delivery of much needed affordable housing. The reason for objection lies down to waste collection, which can be managed by Section 106, and it is the council's attitude to risk that this is maintained in perpetuity, which appears to be the issue. What if? And we can all talk round in circles about what ifs may happen in the future. And I guess I need to ask the committee, what is your attitude to risk? What I have problem with is that our waste collection partner has not been challenged in the first place. In large rural areas which we have in the south, there is always waste flatbed transit type vehicles with cages in the back servicing properties that cannot cope with the usual large bin lorries. And I do not understand why our partner can't provide that in this situation. I believe the development is in keeping with its surrounds and is an excellent example of delivering affordable housing in a different way. I believe the properties on the road would like the pavements widened to increase their amenity and to stop cars parking directly outside their windows, which would also aid the situation should the waste contract fails. The council's core strategy, the Shropshire plan, which I'm sure you know all about, is based on residents having the opportunity to live their best lives. I cannot support the refusal of obtaining 4 affordable houses on the grounds stated on the possibility that a Section 106 on waste collection fails. To conclude, I support this application subject to Section 106 on the waste collection remaining. And I would also comment, should the pavement widening be considered, it should not delay the construction of the properties, as I am fully aware of how long highway surveys and consultations take. If supported, these properties should be built in a timely manner and the remainder of the site landscaped, enabling 4 more families in Clavely or the local area to live their best life and to deliver to the Shropshire plan. Please support.
Thank you, Councillor Button. Any questions, please? No. Thank you very much. And I call on the applicant, Mr. Johnson Beamer, please.
Do I need to turn the microphone on?
Right hand side. Press it there.
Right hand side, Johnson. You have 3 minutes to this.
Oh. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and councillors. Thank you for allowing me to speak in support of our application. Some of you have viewed the site this morning and the 6 recently completed cross-subsidy affordable homes. 3 properties have been sold at the discounted rate to people with local connections. The 3 rental properties have all been let to people with strong local connections and young children. The 3-bedroom properties are let at the cap rent of £6.25 a month, the 2-bedroom at cap rent of £5.25 a month. It is not an exaggeration to say that these properties have transformed these young families' lives, and they are all absolutely delighted. We believe that the project overhaul can be described as a success. This application is supported by the Parish Council, the Housing Needs Team, and Highways have no objection. The neighbour adjacent to the site entrance is in support of this application, as they have no concern with the refuse bins on the public footpath once a fortnight for a short period. The main concern raised by the planning officer focuses on the refuse bins, and there are a number of measures proposed to address these concerns. We have provided ample bin storage areas, including one that is within the guideline 20 metres of the collection point and is available for the use of all occupiers of King's Arms Court should they choose to do so. We propose to widen the pavement at the site entrance at our own expense. This will improve visibility by preventing vehicles parking adjacent to the site entrance and allow ample room for refuse bins on collection day. We propose to employ an operative to promptly move the empty refuse bins from the public pavement back onto the site on collection day. We have proposed the construction of a small composting area for the use of all occupiers for their green garden waste, including that from the communal areas, in order to reduce quantities placed for roadside collection. We have also proposed that the household waste from the rental properties, which will be 5 in total, will be collected from on-site using a private contractor, again to reduce the quantity of refuse bins at the site entrance on collection day. This collection is already in place to demonstrate that it will work. These proposals can be enforced in perpetuity by adding them as conditions to the required 106 agreement. We urge you to support this application, as it will provide another 4 affordable homes that will transform lives for local families on an infill site that should be utilised. We, along with other visitors and occupiers of the site, do not see the issue of refuse bins as being a problem for the short time they are placed at the site entrance once a fortnight. Refuse and refuse bins are a fact of 21st century life that we all have to deal with, and whilst they may be a slight inconvenience to some, they are certainly not a reason to refuse this application, particularly with the mitigating measures we have proposed. I welcome the opportunity to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Councillor Tindall, please.
This is not about refuse, but you've got 4 2-bedroom houses. Was there a reason for not allowing one of them to be 3 bedrooms? I was just thinking of the family.
Yeah, the original application was 4 3-bedroom properties.
4 3-bedroom.
Housing Needs couldn't support 3-bedroom houses because they hadn't got an identifiable need, and so we were forced to change them to 4 2-beds to get the housing enabling to support this application.
So can I ask, does that mean you've only got people on so-called waiting list who are perhaps elderly or couples, and the trouble with couples, they tend to have children.
I mean, we argued this case, we put all our supporting documentation to the housing only team, and they just said, no, we have to have hard evidence. They've got no hard evidence of the need for three bedroom properties. So our only option was to change them to 2 bedroom. We would prefer the 3 bedroom ones, but our housing enabling team wouldn't support.
Sorry, who is the housing enabling team? Is it us?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have to demonstrate the need for 3 bedroom affordable houses to get them support.
And you couldn't.
And we tried, you know. We had all sorts of reports done, but no, they wanted evidence.
Right.
Mr. Chair,
I think.
Really?
do you allow me to speak? 'Cause,
Yeah, go
Maria Howells is our housing enablement officer, and I spoke with her at length earlier in the year. And the problem that we incurred was that a lot of this is governed by who is on home point. And the problem is, we're probably all aware, in a rural area, people don't put the names on home point because they don't think there's ever going to be any social housing where they want to live. And so it's a chicken and egg, isn't it? And as soon as we know that houses are coming, people register. So it is a difficult one, but the current figures showed it was only probably couples or couples with a child led to 2 beds.
Okay, thank you. All right, any other questions, please? Yeah. Thanks, Jonathan. Charlotte, you looking back in?
Thanks, Chair. No comment on that particularly, but apologies, members who went on the site this morning. There are some photos, Tim, if you want to go through those, for you to be able to see the site. That's looking out from the entrance, isn't it? And that's looking into the site, so that's the entranceway. Just to the front of that's the bin store, and this is the existing part of the land that's been built. And I believe some are occupied, and then a few at the back that are not yet occupied, but are about to in the next few days, I think.
Could I ask? Are those the 6 that were sold?
First 3 were sold.
Sorry, 3. Yeah, I didn't know about
First 3 were sold, and then the next 3 which are built are to be rented. Ones that are coming in through the application, 2 to be sold, 2 to be rented.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. We want to kick off the debate. Councillor Tyndall.
Well, my own view is that we've got to make this work somehow. And I agree with Councillor Gwilym Butler that we can't live forever under the shadow of what if. And my proposal is that we don't accept the planning officer's recommendation or refusal, that we actually grant permission for this.
Okay, Councillor Hignett, please.
Thank you, Chair. First of all, I'd like to say how nice a village I think Claverley is. I've never been there before. First time to visit this morning. It's a village with real character. Lots of obviously listed properties and older buildings, and has a certain style to the village. It is difficult to traverse through with vehicles because of the narrow street and the parking, but that just makes it all the more quaint and nice to look at. They definitely need affordable dwellings. The properties that I looked at that have already been built this morning were well designed, and I think the entrance drive is to be commended because it really does have character. The bin stores, I've never seen such smart bin stores, which is really nice. I do think, listening to the applicant, that the proposed mitigation measures are acceptable to myself. It would be very difficult to refuse affordable dwellings purely on this basis, which seems to be the main sticking point. And I think we need to approve this application. And if for some reason the private contractors don't manage to carry on collecting the rubbish, then I think that our contractors have got to provide suitable transport.
Thank you, Councillor Parsons, please.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I mean, I agree with the sentiment of the previous two speakers. I mean, we know as a committee the difficulty in getting any affordable housing developments south of Shrewsbury. The whole of the south of the county, it is extremely difficult to get affordable housing built. So I certainly wouldn't want to refuse this because of the issue that we've obviously had put before us as far as the bins are concerned. I think there are ways around that. We've heard of the work that the developers are prepared to put in to resolve that. I mean, looking at when we were there this morning, looking at the site, it would appear to me that that I think Gwilym mentioned the fact that in certain areas in the south, smaller Veolia vehicles do collect the rubbish there, and there's no reason why that couldn't be the case here, in my view. And so I'm not prepared to refuse this application, so I will be supporting it.
Mr. Christian Lee, please.
Yes, I wasn't able to attend the site visit this morning, but I went out to Cradley on Sunday to have a look at this development, and like many people have said, it's a very high quality development. I do think we need to support this to enable young people to be able to stay in the village. I've spoken to young people in the past who'd love to be able to stay in Cladley, and this is going to go a long way to help realise that. I do think it will be a good idea to have the build out of the curbs at the entrance to ensure clear visibility. It is a narrow street, but people cope going through the main street, and I'm fully in support of this application.
Thank you, Councillor Lee. Councillor Bagel, please.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I would certainly echo what my fellow councillors have already said regarding the fact that it's a very beautiful village with some very interesting buildings. I was impressed by the quality of the design of this project. It was nice that it was quite spacious, and also it's quite attractive as well. I had thought quite carefully about the issue with the bins. I really can't see that it's a good enough reason to refuse the opportunity of giving some young people the chance to stay in their village. I know in Broseley there's a new development over the back of where I live, and it's an unadopted road, and Shropshire Council send in a small vehicle to collect their bins. I don't see any reason why that couldn't happen there in Cladley. I think it's a project that should most certainly be supported, and that's what I'm minded to do.
Thank you. Someone else specific, please.
I would put forward that we propose the application with a 106 regarding the bins.
I think personally it's a good site. I think this is long overdue to tidy the area up for the residents that are living there. And I'm sure that if we were reminded to approve the application, we could delegate conditions to officers to carry out and make sure everything is done to the letter. And even we could keep those markings on the road if needs be, but we can delegate that to officers subject to the committee wanting to approve. So have we a proposal, please?
Perhaps that was a proposal, but perhaps I didn't make it clear.
Proposed by seconded by Councillor Lee, with the condition, with the proviso that we delegate the conditions to the officers to put through. Okay. And the 106 agreement as well. Okay. All right. You happy with that, Charlotte?
Yes, thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Right. Would you like to take the vote, please, James, for the application to go ahead?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Going through my list in order. I could ask each member to indicate whether they're for or against the application. Councillor Bagnall?
For.
Proposal to accept or refuse.
Proposal to accept.
Yes.
Yeah.
Conditions delegated.
Delegate,
On the
yeah.
106. Thank you.
Okay.
Councillor Backfall.
Thank you.
Councillor Hignett.
Or
Councillor Lee.
Four.
Councillor Love.
For,
Councillor Lumley.
Four.
Councillor Parsons.
Four.
Councillor Potter.
or
Councillor Tyndall.
or
Yourself, Chair.
4.
That's unanimous, Chair.
That's unanimous. Thank you. Okay. Thank you very much. Right, we're going to item number 6, Penn Lane at Anwood.
Thank you, Chair. This application is for a 2-storey side extension to dwelling known as Quercus Domus. The reason it's come to committee today is because the applicant is a member of the Shropshire Council's building control and there's been no other triggers met. Parish Council is supportive and there's no comment from the local member. It is our view that the extension is acceptable in its scale and design, so it's not dominate the original property, and the recommendation is therefore to grant permission subject to an amended section 106 because it was a single plot exception site.
Thank you. Councillor Tyndall, please.
so it is possible, perhaps a legal question, it is possible to amend a section 106 agreement so that the dwelling becomes greater than 100 square meters measured internally.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure. Maybe James have a better bearing on whether it's amended or a new section 106, but there's something to.
Yes, thank you, Chair. It would be via a deed of variation, right, to alter the original one.
So the existing one stays the same, but they're
Subject to subtle variations to reflect this application. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else wish to speak, please? I propose from the chair that we accept the application as it is.
happy to second.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair. Again, going through my list in alphabetical order, if ask members to confirm whether they're voting for or against the recommendation to approve the application. Councillor Bagnall.
For.
Councillor Lee.
Or
Councillor Love.
for,
Councillor Lumley.
or
Councillor Parsons.
Four.
Councillor Potter.
or
Councillor Tyndall.
or
And yourself, Chair.
4.
Thank you. That's unanimous, Chair.
Unanimous again. Okay. Thank you very much. We now come on to schedule appeals and appeal decisions. Okay.
Nick go up as he is.
Shall we get Nick back in?
He's not got, he's going home because.
Oh, right, okay.
he's gone.
Run off. Cancel.
I can sing a lot of these are promoted really because we've got Manton, Green Manton at Britton Wharf. That's the Cattle Spring, that was dismissed. Got the Bowers Poultry Farm, that was dismissed. Eagle News Limited, Eagles Inn. I believe that was upheld. And got proposed dwelling east of the Tide Barn, Diddlebury, that was dismissed. The others are, some still ongoing. Coppice Cottage, Norgate, Ludlow, that was allowed. And that's it basically, that's all the appeals, so it's quite straightforward. So, apart from that, we go to date the next meeting, 25th of July. Thank you all for attending the site visit this morning. Thank the officers for their input and wish you a safe journey out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And it's 2:29.
Must be a record every month.
Yeah.